Hello everyone, it's Investor Tanner. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I lost $50,000 in 2021. So please, if you're interested in investing, real estate, whatever it may be, please watch through this video so that you can learn from my mistakes and not do them yourselves. So the first one was actually me as a real estate agent. And just some background, I am not a real estate agent by trade, and I never really planned to be. I have my license to supplement my investing career. And in this situation, it shows that real estate agents really are pros, and there's a lot to it. It's not just about getting your license and going through it. But in this case, I was representing myself, and I was buying my own property to live in. So this is our live-in flip in Kirkland that we're currently going through. And if you're representing yourself buying a property, then you get that commission, whether it's for yourself or for someone else. So I was supposed to get $25,000 from this transaction. And long story short, I never got the $25,000. Even though it was in the listing agreement, it was set in stone. I was supposed to get that $25,000, but between myself and some other parties that should have caught this, somewhere in the contract in writing, I never got my $25,000. And I'll save the details on how that happened because it gets pretty nitty gritty, but legally the seller was supposed to pay me the $25,000, but somewhere it was not communicated to the title company, the escrow company who's dispersing the funds, that I was getting the $25,000. So it's been this huge ordeal. Now it's the law is getting involved, and it's just such a headache. Right now, I'm treating it as a sunk cost. If I get anything out of this $25,000, I'll be excited, but if not, I'm gonna learn from it, apply it to my business, and move on. So that was a tough one to settle on because it was as simple as giving one extra document and I would have had my $25,000, but due to my lack of experience and due to some other factors, I never got that money. And as much as I could blame this on my brokerage, on the title company, several people, with any lesson, you should always take 100% responsibility because you can improve. And if I just blame it on someone, I'm not gonna have a learning moment from this. Instead, I'm just gonna lose the money and be miserable. So I always choose to take 100% responsibility because I know that I could have done something to prevent that. So that's 25, that's half of it right there, is this simple task. The next one is with my latest flip. Now, this one is super annoying, but I learned so much from it. All of my value adds have been between two markets, the greater Seattle area and Moses Lake, Washington. I'm very confident in those markets. I have my network, I have my contractors, my property managers, my mentors who know the area. So if I have any questions, if I need a job done, I reach out to my network and it gets done. I'm never really left wondering what to do when I have that network. But in this specific case, I let the numbers speak to me. I found this off-market deal. It was 2 hours away from me. So this is 2 hours away from Seattle, past Tacoma, in this little town called Roy. And there's not a lot there. So I was letting these numbers speak to me, even though I shouldn't have. I got emotional about it. I was like, I found this deal, there's a lot of equity in it, but in reality, I didn't have a network there at all. And it was super tough. So that's one side of this issue, is that I didn't have a network. I was trying to find I was trying to make a deal happen in a new network or in a new area that I wasn't very confident in. So my lesson in that aspect is, before you invest in an area, do your research, build your network in that area so you have these connections to lean on, and so you know the market really well. The other side of this lesson is, and one of the main reasons I lost money, is because I did one of these leasebacks. And so a leaseback is when I buy a property from the owner and then I rent the property back to the previous owner, to that owner. So they get the cash from the sale of their home, but they don't have to move out, so they can still live in there. And in this case, he wanted to live in there for 2 more months so he could move everything out. He was gonna pay me rent, so no obligation to me, right? I was gonna be getting paid. Turns out, I didn't vet him as a tenant. I just wanted to buy his property. He didn't pay me rent. He was the worst tenant ever, and he didn't clean up anything that he said he would. Cleanup was a huge part of this deal. There was trash, cars, tractors, everything out in the lawn. It was a disgusting house. And so we put it in writing, if you don't clean up this, then it's gonna be $10,000. And to me, it was just like to scare him. And like I wanted him to do it, but in reality, it didn't work. And he didn't clean up anything. So he left to Montana. Now I'm left with this fat mess. He already wasn't paying me for 2 months, so I'm losing money on that end. And every time I'm coming out here, it's a 2-hour drive. So I'm just over it. This whole Roy deal has been bugging me a ton. I'm over it and I'm losing money. So I gotta figure something out. The biggest lesson that I learned from this is that the leaseback option is still an awesome tool. It's still an awesome solution that you can offer to your sellers, but I forgot a part of it. If I want someone to do something, I can't just put it in writing. This guy doesn't have a lot of money. He's moved to Montana, so suing him is gonna cost a lot of money, and who knows if I'm gonna get anything out of it. It's gonna cause a lot more stress for me. I didn't wanna do that. And so I just lost the money. I was just like, okay, I lost the money, I'm gonna bite the bullet and get out of here. But what I could have done to prevent all of this is do a holdback. So if you want someone who's in your property to do something on a lease back, if I want him to clean it up or I'm gonna charge him $10,000 and I want him to pay rent, if I bought his house for $220,000, title is only gonna give him $200,000 and they're gonna hold back $20,000 or $20,000 until he cleans up the property, until he pays his rent and moves out. And so that's called a holdback with title. So if I would have done that, he would have had a lot more incentive to do exactly what he said he would, which was on contract and based on her word. So if I would have done that holdback, I would have saved $20,000. So now we're at $45,000 that I lost on the year. The last $5,000 comes from crypto. And this one doesn't really count as a loss because I've never sold it yet, this specific coin, but I put a lot of money into this and a few weeks later, it crashed like 20–30%. So obviously I was kind of butthurt about it, but I'm in no way an expert at crypto at this point. I lean on a lot of my friends who are experts, and the lesson that they told me that I'm gonna pass on to you all is that if you're investing in crypto, you have to understand that it's a volatile investment. It's gonna go up and it's gonna go down. So when it goes down, don't freak out, keep her cool. If it's a coin that you believe in, just ride it out. It's gonna go up eventually, hopefully. And in this case, it's XRP. So I still believe in it. I'm hoping I'm gonna make money on it in the end, but if you're in crypto, don't get so caught up in the volatility. Now, that's the $50,000 that I lost. In the end, I still was very positive in real estate. I made a lot of money in real estate. I made a lot of money in off-market deals, and I made money in crypto. So just because you lose out on some does not mean that it's a bad thing. With all of these lessons, I learned a ton, and I'm gonna use that to make a lot more money in 2022. So it's all about your mindset. If you have a failure in life, you can complain about it, you can be miserable, you can fight on a lawsuit for 10 years, or you can figure out what you could learn from it and apply it to your business and make more money. And that, for me, is a lot more clarity, which is what I'm after. But the number one piece of advice that I want to give to you in summary is from a quote from Denzel Washington, one of my favorite actors. And he says, if you are not failing, then you're not trying hard enough. And that is so true in the investing space. You need to get out of your comfort zone if you want to grow. And that's what I'm trying to do. I hope I have a ton more failures in 2022, but I know that I'm not going to make the same mistakes that I made in 2021. I'm going to use all of these failures to become more and more knowledgeable in the space and make more and more money year after year. If you learned something, please comment, subscribe, like this video, and thanks for joining the journey.